stand by.
Good morning. I'm showing you how to program and start the boiler if there's trouble. Okay. First thing I want to show you is this clipboard that's up at the top, and that's where we record all our settings in this timer. And if you look at this clipboard, the way it's arranged, it has first Monday, Friday. It's a series of on, then off. Each day or each setting has an on setting to start it, and then an off setting to stop the boiler. And as you look down, it's like Monday through Friday, which is each weekday, starting at 8 and then turning off at 12, and so on, down all the way through to all these settings. If you change one of these for some reason, you need to always erase here and put down your change so we know where things are. And weeknight settings follow, like the Sunday setting, which is important, 7 and 8 here. It starts. Oh well. Anyway, oh, that's the setting for the group using the chapel. I'm all right. Then the Sunday above it is for sanctuary service, starts at 7 a.m. and is off at noon. So you see how these work. Like here's Monday, on at 5, off at 6:30. That's an evening group. And the rest, as these follow down, are mostly evening settings. Go as you follow down. Okay, so there's a Saturday on at 5, off at 7:30, and just if you make changes, record it. And that's basically it for this. I'm going to show you how to program these if you need to change them. So we're going to go to the timer, which is down below. Okay, now we're focused on the timer. And you can see right now it's been overridden, so it's off so you can hear me better. But the first thing, probably the easiest thing, is to change whatever the boiler is doing. If it's on and you want to turn it off, or if it's off and you want to turn it on, this top right button says override, and that's what you do. Now the only bad thing about that is if you do reset it to override, it'll stay on until the next setting tells it to go off, and that could be some time and waste a lot of gas. So make sure if you're doing this for a short-term thing that if you remember to turn it on, that you come down and override it to go back off, so it isn't just running and running. And then I'm going to show you how to program things in this, other things. But this is the override button. And it's good not to have everybody doing the override. We want to kind of have a limited group of people that feel comfortable and knowledgeable to do that, but it can be done. In any case, the rest of these buttons, I'm going to show you now how to program if you needed to program a setting. So in order to program, this bottom left button is mode, and you can push it once. If you push it just once, that allows you to reset the time of day of what it is right now. And you have to do this at time changes like Eastern Standard Time and, fall back, spring forward kind of stuff. This timer, I'll note, on certain dates will automatically do that, but it does it 2 weeks ahead of time for some strange reason, because back when the time. So anyway, you will have to reset that and correct the time. And that's just by pushing the mode button once. If you push it again, second, okay, that programs the date. Like it's 12:06:23, so it keeps track of the dates too. And that's how it knows to throw itself ahead when it shouldn't. In any case, the third time you push this, it goes to program mode. And if we look up on the clipboard, we can see this is the first setting. It's Monday through Friday, as it says on the top, and it's an on, and it's at 8 o'clock. Okay? Now to get to the next setting, which would be the off for that same period of time, you have to push enter to progress through the settings. So I push enter, and it says 1203 to go off. And that's basically it. And you can cycle through the listing of settings. Okay, the setting number is over here in the quarter. Setting 3, it says 03 is the setting, and that corresponds with the setting 3 up on the clipboard. And so you can click through these, and if you need to edit one, you just push hour and minute to change that setting, but then you must push enter when you're done, because it won't record it until you push enter and progress to the next setting. So so as you see, like there's the Sunday morning setting, 7 a.m. and off at noon, and so on. And that's basically it for the timer. Okay? You can, if you're just doing a one-time setting for a special event that isn't going to occur regularly, you can go all the way to the last setting, which should be 23 or so, according to clipboard. Okay, so this is the last setting, and 23 is blank. As you see here, there is no setting. So I'll show you how to make a setting. You tell it what day. That's Monday through Friday. We don't want that. Let's just say we want to set it for Sunday. Let's say night. Okay, so it's setting for, and we'll tell it to go on, the on-off button. Here's how you program on or off. And then the hour, then you push, let's say you want it to go on at 10 a.m. in the morning, say. Okay, now to enter that, you push, oh, got to put it minutes. Ooh, there we go. So it's programmed to go 10 a.m. on, and now I'm going to push enter to record it. Okay? It won't go into the timer until you push enter and go to the next setting. Okay? And that's basically it. Now to review that, I'm going to just go back because I want to get rid of that setting. I don't want that left on there. So you push, after you've done your correcting, you push mode one more time. Make sure you do that. That puts it back into regular timing mode, not a program mode. Okay? So that's it. So I'm going to get back to remove that setting. One more time. Got to get out to 23. I'm going to remove it. And the way you remove it is just get it to 0. Like that, lines. Okay, I'll bring it back to off. And that clears that setting. So if you want to get rid of a setting, that's how you do that. I'm going to push enter so it records it. Got rid of the old one. And that's it. Now I'm going to push it back to mode once, and that puts it back in the operating mode. The correct time is there. And I'm going to start the boiler again so we see how it's supposed to work. Okay? So we're going to go over to the boiler next. Okay, I just overrode it so it doesn't go on immediately. It takes a little while. So here we go here. Now this is the boiler, and you probably can't hear so well, but it's when it first goes on, it's purging the boiler, and that's just a fan you hear blowing air out of there to remove any trapped gas or anything that shouldn't be there. And after about a minute and a half, it will go to ignition stage, and that's what it's doing right now, is going to ignition. You heard it click. And after it clicks, it will turn on the fuel, the gas. And this valve will open. ignition, the boiler will not operate if it's in the off position. If you switch it off, the boiler goes off. And if somebody thought this was a light switch or something and turned it off, then the boiler would be off. Okay? So in order to restart the boiler, it's still on in the timer programming. I can turn this switch back on and it'll go through the cycle again of purging, ignition, and then gas. Okay, and you can hear it. Like, this is how the boiler should sound when it starts. While it's quiet though, I'm going to just point out a couple of things. The sight glass here is important to tell where the level of the water is here. This boiler will not operate unless the water is at the proper level, and the pumps keep it at that level. Okay, so right here is where the water level is through the sight glass, so the water is up to here in this boiler, which is where it should be. Okay, and I'm going to turn the boiler on in a second, and we'll go through what you should hear, the sounds you should hear when it ignites. It takes a minute, power is on to it. This indicates power on, so it's getting power. It'll take a minute to kick in. That's the blower kicking in, purging the combustion chamber, and then this igniter will ignite the pilot, and you'll hear a click for that. And then once the pilot flame is sensed properly, it'll turn on the main fuel, which is the yellow light on the right. Hear the click for the igniter, about 10 seconds. And once the pilot flame is seen, it'll turn on the main fuel. And it just did.